I'm not really like that type of person.
Good,
you know,
I am, but
I'll talk to anybody.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
Cool.
I'm totally open. I'm not the type of person to, and it depends on my mood, of course. But like most of the time, I'm like, hey, what up? You know, how's it going? You know, I actually will seek conversations sometimes, especially. I'll jump in on conversations, you know, and that's how I've met a lot of people is
That's
just
cool.
jumping in the middle of a conversation. Especially if I hear they're talking about art, I'll just go, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
You know, I don't have a problem doing that, you know.
No, but that's definitely an interesting point, though, Josh, you bring up. There was a point in my life where I didn't really want to talk to people because I was like, I can only do so much in my day and I can only mess with so many people.
Yeah.
Like, whatever you're going through, I know enough. I don't even want to know.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I got a band, I got a club, I got a record, I got a this, and I make T-shirts and just like, all right, bro, I got you. Cool.
Yeah.
Let's talk later.
I mean, I'd rather deal with that than the dude that's like pushing the stroller around and he's working his 9 to 5 and he's like, I got to get over to Home Depot to
Right, but there
whatever.
is something in them that gives us strength, which is like, because some of these
sure.
guys, they have the ability to just keep pushing forward.
Right.
For me, everything is so fucking emotional and overwhelming all the goddamn time. It's
Well,
like,
you're an
Jesus.
artist.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm an only child, and I'm a fucking Gemini, and I have 2 names.
Yeah, but that
and,
goes
you
back
know,
to the support
I'm
system.
on fire, you know what I'm saying? 24/7, you know what I'm saying?
But it goes back to the support system, and it goes back to having a group of people that are achieving accomplishments as a group versus individuals.
Well, I think that's the success of a lot of our story is that we've always tried to remain honest with each other as friends, and you know, Casey held it together for many years, trying to keep the boat moving forward and teaching us new tools. Like I remember they were, you know, him and Crush were the first to ever use a computer and vectorize and build files out in Illustrator.
Yeah.
I mean, these are way ahead curve,
Sure.
you know, things, and how to apply your art to a different sense and just to expand your mind and expand your abilities. I think Casey's very vital in that role.
Yeah.
You know, I think, and he's always been very even keeled on how to keep us, you know, in a good headspace, because there's been a lot of shit, a lot of emotional, crazy shit that's gone down. You know, that we all kind of carry as a badge too. And the average person is really hard to relate to with that, because it's like I feel like I've been through war half the time. You know, so it's like talk to the average dude and he's worried about some bullshit, and I'm like, dude, you have no idea what the fuck I've been through. You know?
Well, like, 'cause, a lot of dudes don't, you know, we used to go to parties and not only do we have to worry about ourselves, but we got to worry about other people. And it's like, you know, I can remember back in the day, there was a certain point where we couldn't go anywhere where a problem did not surface itself. And when I talk to you about the problems that we went through, I'm talking about real fucking problems, not like, dude, you parked in my spot at fucking PTA meeting, or your wife didn't fucking bring donuts this weekend to the fucking PTA meeting. It's like, I'm talking about like real shit, like your boy stabbed my boy last weekend at a party and we got to fucking go outside and talk about this shit right now. Like, those were our every fucking other day kind of problems. Or my boy just got arrested over here yesterday and we had to bail him out. Like it was, you know, we were high stepping through shit for a while, and it was, you know,
and that was a product of our environment here, which was Southern California, which is the biggest prison state on the planet, which is hundreds of millions put on, you know, incarcerating people, which there's a certain sense of destabilization from every human point of view. Get in your car, run someone over, you're fucked, you know? So it's like everyone kind of deals with it in our society. We just went at it head on.
Right. But I want to hear a little bit about kind of marketing.
Okay.
You know, how are you marketing your art? How are you connecting with fans and building relationships?
Well, here's the thing. I've been a little quiet lately.
Okay.
I got some ideas, big fucking ideas. I need a lot of money. Anyone has $250K right now, I could really use it.
All right.
I got some big. You want marketing? I got some marketing.
Call in the Rebel Radio.
You want to play ball on a big
250
scale?
on it.
We're gonna do. We have project managers. We'll get PR. We'll have people on the ground. It's a full blown operation.
Yeah.
This could be fucking epic, dude.
Nice.
But outside of needing to raise a lot of shit money, I think I apply the same rules that I did with originally back to painting on the street, which is how to create a piece of material that's digestible to your viewer and make it open and available. So I like the tools of social media. I love the strategy of networking via social media. My numbers aren't huge, but I've been able to build up a nice amount of numbers for myself.
Is
for
it
my own personal
meaningful?
front.
Like, does it help you sell paintings or?
Well, it always helped. I kind of came to the conclusion, if you want to sell a $150 print, you need to, you know, if you want to sell 50 of them, you need to at least reach 100,000 people.
Right.
You know, for somebody to pull the trigger on creating an internet transaction.
Yeah.
Galleries is a whole different world. It's a closed inclusive, political shit fest. And the galleries I'm not interested in fucking with unless they got the right profile and the right meat behind them. So I'm done fucking with anyone unless they got the real.
How do you decide whose brand fits with your brand?
I guess it depends on. Well, galleries, it's a totally different realm.
Yeah.
So that's the goal, is to sell a lot of paintings to people privately and no one even fucking knows. So that's even better. Yeah, I haven't posted something on social media in 2 years and I'm balling out of control. That's the best way.
Right.
But the opposite way is, oversaturate yourself until no one listens anymore.
Sure.
So I like to be somewhere in the middle where I create a discourse with people. They get to kind of see what I'm doing and I get to have some sort of interaction. I really like Twitter in the sense that you get to create, you get to share information quickly and create a sense of discussion or level of discussion, not just like beating your fucking head against the wall, but actually having meaningful nutrient, discourse between certain people about information. I like that.
Yeah.
I like Instagram to promote. It's great, and everyone wants to give each other pats on the backs. That's awesome, whatever. But I like the strategy behind it. I think it's interesting. I'm pretty efficient at diving down the hole and sorting things out, when it comes to social media. But really, the best option would be to find somebody who really believes in what you're doing. And, as an artist, art has always thrived on nepotism. So you can't, unless you're struggling, you can't really thrive unless you got a lot of motherfucking money behind you.
Right.
So in this world, to expand, I could thrive on my own just fine. And and I'm good at it. And that's why I say no to most people, because I don't want to be tainted by their vision. So it's just about finding the right situation. As a person, I've been supporting my family with my art for years now. So I've been doing really well.
Yeah.
But to take it to the next level requires a structure and a business plan and somebody that understands that vision.
So give me a short version of what's the next level.
The next level is just having the right space and time and energy and fuel to keep experimenting with work and keep creating bodies of larger works that can travel all over the world, and then reinvest into our own projects and visions. So the ultimate success for me would be to have enough funds and money to invest in my own ideas. So like today, it's like, I want to do a bulletproof wild style sculpture. Let's fucking do it. We have a team to put this thing together. Or we need to fuck with bronze, or I want to do a laser installation, or I want to do fucking projection sniping, or I want to buy out 50 billboards, or I want to create a street campaign, or I want to buy out promotion social media space, or whatever it is to infect the space and get the word out, either via activism type things or pushing the art itself. That's the ultimate goal. And that's how these blue chip characters do it. That's how the Coonses do it. They come from financing. They have enough money to just put money into their own visions, pay people to make this shit. Now, I don't want to be at that level because I always want to put my hands on it, but it would be really nice to have, enough money just to fund crazy ideas.
Is there a model for that? You mentioned Jeff Koons, but like, is there somebody that you look to as a model for what you're trying to
Not
create?
one individual.
Okay.
I haven't quite sorted that out yet. Okay. but
you pull from different.
Yeah, and business is always tough for
earlier.
me. Like Dave was a lottery and he hit it, and
for sure.
and I was looking at some of those things yesterday. I was like, he is one talented motherfucker, man.
For sure.
When you look at what he's capable of, and I think that's what attracted a lot of his. And he doesn't give a fuck, so that's what's good about him. For me, it's about having enough energy, physically, mentally, and emotionally, to keep tackling ideas and come up with the resources to make these ideas manifest themselves. That's, the easiest thing is, okay, get some cardboard and make some fucking paintings with whatever you have.
Right.
And I have the ability to do that always.
Yeah.
But the big vision is how to manifest this into a big scale.
Do you think you'll ever feel like you made it?
No. There's never business dealings that was going on along the LA River, which is a revitalization program, which to some certain degree I do support. But at the other hand, it's this multi-billion-dollar business proposal. What I did is Change.org jumped on board the campaign, helped me raise 6,500 signatures in a week's time. I printed all those signatures.
You get exposed to this. You get your mind blown, and you're in it. Like, take me through the journey to where you understand that this is a vehicle for social change, and you get, because I've seen a few examples of your activism,
Right.
through this medium. And so how does that happen? Like, how do you go from being, you described yourself as a psychopath, right, to now?
Yeah. Well, I'd have
Taking
to
that much more
rewind and say
seriously.
that it was an evolution of different personas.
Of course.
Now I'm a father, a family man, and trying to be as mellow and as chill as fucking possible.
Right.
Because, now it's about trying to be a good family provider and a decent citizen, whatever the fuck that means. But,
But even before that, right?
it's a seed that's planted, and there's smart people and there's reactionary people. And I think Casey's one of the persons who's kind of guided us the most in the sense of, well, you can make these types of decisions or you can make these types of decisions.
Yeah.
And I think we were a clusterfuck of bad decisions and good and smart decisions that kind of led to an outcome.
Sure.
It's like throwing a stone into the pond and you see the ripples, and then you learn to react from those. So
give me a couple. What are some key decisions that have made a big difference in your career?
I think how to present an idea, how to make it make sense to a certain degree, how to hold on to something that makes sense and not be so because within this movement I've seen quite a few people kind of lose themselves, and that goes back to the context of wild style and painting and the addiction of painting.
So what does it mean? What happens when you lose yourself?
I don't even know if I can say self is one person. Well, basically,
We don't have to say names if we,
once you open up Pandora's box of what's behind letters, not just to say, okay, this says Saber, but once you come up with the math that's behind it, the nuances of the shapes and the proportions of size and shapes, you kind of come down to this alchemy that it's like taking mushrooms for the first time or dropping acid. It's an eye opener.
Okay.
You can go on tangents and go so far down that road that you almost paint yourself into a circle where, and I've been there, where you've been so obsessed with one thing that it didn't allow you to see choices, or it didn't allow you to see the bigger picture in things because you're so hyper focused on one thing. And with the addiction, the stress, the painting, the toxic fumes, there's certain points where you lose yourself in that, as opposed to being more of a vehicle to explore it. You actually become the mess itself.
It's like the Matrix.
You become the Matrix.
It's like even like there's levels, right? So even like I was a tagger, right?
Yeah.
There was some
What was
points
your
where
tag?
that doesn't matter. There were some points in my life where I literally could not think about anything else besides writing my name on shit.
Yeah.
Way below where they're at, right?
Yeah, sure.
So take that fiendish feeling where everything you see, everywhere you go, everything, you're just constant. Like there was not a night for probably 3 months that I didn't go out tagging. I'd get out on the freeway wherever I could. So take that to the next level when you're creating letters and you're creating cuts and blends and you're just like getting real.
Yeah, super teched out. Like you're learning the tech, and
But
it
then you're
fries
doing
your
that on
brain.
an everyday basis, and then you just no one's there to pull you out of the water.
And then your friends are there to push you even further. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you get into social
Right, and that's real intense.
proof, right? The social support.
And I think the difference between graffiti artists or writers and street artists is we belong in a tribal mindset and learn to be strong individuals within a tribal mindset. And street artists are kind of all individuals.
Okay.
So we have a totally different social complex than
there's
the
not
other
very
scene.
much organization, and there's definitely not very much loyalty or chain of command to kind of like guide you through the system. Like he said, Casey's helped everybody make a lot of great decisions. It's like early on when we started Gorilla One, it was like I wanted to create a book called Corporate Graffiti because our mindset to be up in certain places and be up permanent, or just we knew what we were doing if we caught a fast tag or a permanent spot. You know what I mean? Like everyone's going to see this tonight, but that shit's gone 2 days later. Or we're going to get this one spot and it's going to last for 10 years.
Well, that was my point of view. I was always like, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to make the biggest impact as possible. And that's why I didn't do too many like war games, which is doing bubbles. Bubbles is war games. So those are expendable privates per se. So for me, I was like, if I'm going to go out and risk everything, I want to do the best piece possible every time. And eventually you kind of outdo yourself to the point of where you can't even catch up to your own yourself. You're so far ahead of it in your head that you can't physically even catch up to where you want to go. It's a big mind fuck. This whole movement is a complete mind fuck when you really think about it.
Yeah.
Broken down to its simple terms, I think we're the newest form of abstraction. I think we're the newest mixture of what's next with that language, because the language is older than us. You know, that goes back to cubism, futurism, constructivism, whatever. Take your pick on any sort of abstract form. It has all the same recipes. And if we can get away from the hip-hoppy, gangster tough guy, you know, whatever attitude that people think that we are, and actually realize that there's a lot of sophisticated conversations going on within this movement, especially between us and other people and other places, that this actually has the right recipe for something a lot more powerful than just graffiti, than just the act of vandalism or space appropriation, or even you working with a corporation that can amplify, you know, which I do have a problem with. You know, I don't like doing those gigs, but, you know, I do what I need to do sometimes, which I'm not always happy. If I was self-funded, I would do what the fuck I wanted to all the time, you know, but that's another topic.
Why do you not like it?
Because it goes against some of our own belief systems, you know, but we live in America, which celebrates, you know, the worst of the worst, and money, you know, the entire system is based on money. So if you don't make it, then you're fucked.
Is there a good and bad to that, or is it all bad? I mean, obviously you got to pay the bills, right? So I don't mean that, but I mean, is it a matter of execution? Is there a right and wrong way, or is it just all bad?
Well, for me, I always want to represent myself to the most authentic place I could find. And to be as honest with myself. I don't like being a show and pony, you know, kind of guy, and I don't like any of that shit, but you know, I'm also generous and I'm humble when it comes to certain things. So if some kid wants me to sign his shit, I'll do it. You know, I'm not going to say no. But for me, it's like working with companies has given me an opportunity to how to present myself in a professional format.
The Lord spoke to me last night.
What'd he say?
He showed me a vision.
I'm gonna win the heavyweight championship belt again.
Right.
Finding out that my parents were out of town.
They're like, and like just show up every day. It ain't gonna work.
Right, but if you have every single Del Taco scribe bathroom, then it's like, okay, I'm cool with the kid, you know?
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah. Speaking of, what's your deep cut graffiti? Like I'm talking like Finn urinal scribes. Remember those?
Yes.
Remember he had every urinal from every Denny's you ever went into. There would be a Finn on the urinal. There probably are still some there.
Yes.
And he since is like it wants nothing to do with graffiti.
Right.
Like legendary graffiti writer, in my opinion. It doesn't want anything to do with it.
He had a weak bladder, and he just had he decided to make use of the time of taking a leak. You know?
But he was out and about in the city. Is there any like deep cut writers where you're like, fuck that dude? That dude was the king of such and such.
Oh God, that's a tough one because it's such a wide spectrum, and my memory's really foggy right now.
Your memory's foggy, okay.
As far as specifics, how I can trigger memory is definitely talking about stories.
Stories. Well,
what was prolific? Just dreads. Those were very prolific.
Just dreads were prolific. Yeah.
Fuck. Jero pulled a shotgun on us once at the MYL meeting.
Jero did?
Yeah, I was trying to. Yeah.
What's NYL?
That was before
the whole ICR AWR link up, right?
Yeah.
That was like that. There was
pre that.
Remember that whole thing? Remember there was like this weird thing where like we just like the two crews just like connected.
Yeah.
And then we're like now we're like one crew. It was like, what the fuck was that? That was.
I got some gnarly stories.
I know you do, dude.
And I don't know if we should get into some of them because it might implicate some people into some bad things.
We can't snitch on anybody. And I'm almost like, can I talk freely about shit?
What can't we talk freely? That's why we're a little like.
No, we can talk about anything. We just can't say names. We can't paint any crimes on anybody.
But we don't want to paint such a bad picture.
It's not a bad picture.
That we did.
It wasn't a bad picture, but it was. But listen, it was part of the deal. There was a crime. There was a criminal element. Not as bad as some. We weren't driving around shooting people. But like there was an element.
Well, who are you? Depends on who you're talking to.
Okay, some people were.
I mean,
you and I were not.
No, but I saw some things. And
I know you saw a lot of shit. You saw a lot. There's so many things. Listen. This is perfect.
I had a drive-by at my house in Thousand Oaks that made the front page news, and that was ICR meets old crew in 805. And I threw a party, and Casey and everyone else found out about it and drove to 805 with ICR, and I was banging some girl, and in my mom's closet, and I was too afraid of what was going on in the living room in 805. And then all of a sudden I heard all this ruckus, and then Casey and ICR were beating the fuck out of my old friends.
Wait, it was guys from your old crew had beef with ICR.
They didn't even know what ICR was. They were 805. This was like the one link with Bless and I.
Wait,
and our weird little crew.
That crew was what was that?
It was called
JR23
or some weird shit. I don't even remember what it stood for.
And why were they beefing with ICR?
They didn't. They just showed up to my house.
Who, the crew did?
Well, the crew and Casey and them showed up to the house,
right?
Finding out that my parents were out of town.
So, they're like, hey, fool, Shaber's parents are out of town.
Yeah. This fool is, hey, go to, we're going to 805 tonight. Let's go, everyone go.
Right.
So all these maniacs showed up to my house that I looked up to, so I couldn't say no to any of these guys.
But you're already in the crew at this point, right?
Not yet.
Oh, this is before. Really?
Yeah, cool. It was like right then. It was like right when I had to make a decision.
But Casey was already hanging out with them before you got in?
Yeah. He knew ICR. He knew.
Oh, okay. Weird. I guess my timeline might be fucked up too. One of us has got a foggy timeline, and I could be just.
Well, we both have reasons why we have foggy timelines.
True.
So I heard all this ruckus.
Yeah.
And they were just beating the fuck out of these kids.
Yeah.
So I tried to separate it, and then they ran off, and then an hour later came back, and then jumped out their car and just started shooting at my house. And shot Keen in the foot.
Oh, that's right. I remember
and then Keen got shot in the foot, but he had steel toes on, so it bounced off his foot and like broke his toe. So of course this is 805. So every single sheriff and fucking cop was at my house within 2 minutes, including the news. So they had to sort all this shit out, and then.
But Keen wasn't from ICR at that point, right?
Yeah, he was like, I guess, I don't know, UFK, ICR.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
we need a fact checker. We need a graffiti fact checker to come on here. And
this was like,
we're gonna get in fucking trouble with this shit.
Oh my god. So my parents were out of town.
Yeah.
My house was destroyed. There was a shooting at my house.
That's crazy.
My old friends now wanted to kill me.
Right. Because they thought you set them up, of course.
Something like that.
It definitely looks that way.
And then ICR, someone from ICR got shot in the foot. So my parents come home from vacation. I clean the house.
They're like, we're in the fucking suburbs. We're trying not to see this shit.
So I didn't know what to do. So all I could do was just leave the front page news just on the table for my parents.
That's how you broke it to them.
I didn't have any other way. So I couldn't hide it.
Oh my God, dude.
So I just left the newspaper on the living room table and just went into my bedroom and closed the door when I came home. And
how old were you at that point? Still a teenager?
By 16.
Oh my God, dude. Listen, guys, don't raise your kids in the suburbs. It's not safe. The burbs are not safe.
Oh my God.
They get into the most trouble. Suburban kids are so fucking nuts. They're so crazy. Like, we have a normal level of crazy in the city, but suburban kids are extra because they're like, they go fucking crazy. They go in these directions. They start it's like there's no, I don't know how to explain it. Like, they don't. It's not.
We're trying too hard and we're a little bored.
And it's like you don't know the rules, so they're making shit up as they go along, like about what street life is, and they're just going crazy. And they're like, "Dude, they just cut this kid's toe off. Nobody does that." You know, like just like what the fuck is going on? Like they're on some other shit. You know, like don't grow up in the suburbs. If you're in the suburbs, move into the shittiest part of the city as soon as you can to see the reality of it.
Yeah.
Don't make your own. Don't make it up as you go along, everybody. Okay.
Oh, fuck. So I got in trouble.
Yeah, I can imagine. And then what?
So I just went with it.